Aloha! I am making a quick tutorial on how I used to make paper ninja stars while I was growing up as a kid. It's a craft that I want to resurrectionize for posterity, since this method is a little different than the existing video tutorials on YouTube. For starters, I will only use one sheet of paper. Everyone else seems to use 2 sheets, so I suppose this method is more eco-friendly. And additionally, I will not use any scissors. Nuh-uh. But I have a sneaky little trick, so stick around to find out my secret. Anyway, back in the day, plain old office paper wasn't readily available, but I did have access to an abundance of college-ruled binder paper. So let's get started with 1 sheet of 3-holed binder paper. I'm using letter-sized sheets, but you may use whatever size you have handy, and it doesn't have to be college-ruled or binder paper. It could just be regular office paper. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is make a square out of this sheet of paper. And we can do that by folding the upper right corner down, or bringing it down to the bottom left like this. And you split the corner over there and make sure this edge is even with the bottom part. And just press it down like that. And I like to do this, flip it over and fold it up like this and get this fold to be even with the edge on the back, like this. And here's the little secret that I was talking about, which you don't have to use scissors, but we still need to cut this. So what I normally do is I like to fold it back the other way again, make a nice crease on there, then wet the tip of your tongue, the top of your tongue, and you're gonna run the folded edge of this paper along your tongue. And this will soften the edge and allow you to tear the sheet of paper easily. So I'm gonna do that right now. And now you can just tear it. And you have a really nice, or fairly nice, edge without using any scissors. And now we have a square, but what we need to do is split this in half again. And what you do is just fold it in half. And we're going to do that little trick again, so I'm going to fold it the other way. And I'll wet the top of my tongue and run this edge along the top of my tongue to soften the edges. Then you can just tear it in half. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but here we go. All right, now that we have this square split in half, we're going to do one side first, and it's fairly easy to do. Just fold it lengthwise. Then we need a reference line in the middle, so we'll fold it up like this. Then open it up. And I like to put my left index finger on the very edge, use my nail, and we're going to fold this down like this. So we have this edge meeting it at the halfway point. Then we turn it around and we'll do the same thing. I like to leave a little gap right here because later on we're going to tuck the edges of the ninja star in there to help lock everything in place. If you make it really tight, it'll be hard to tuck those edges in. Now we got this. Let's flip it back over. And the next thing we want to do is, all right, we'll fold it down like that, and then bring it down one more time like this, and turn it 180, and we'll do the same thing. And then bring it down. And you should have something like this. And we'll set that aside for now. That out. Now we'll take the other sheet and we're going to do something similar. We'll do this part the same. Fold it in half. Then we need a reference mark in the middle, so we'll fold it in half this way. And bring it down. Now, what we have to do now is make this opposite of that. So instead of folding it this way, what we'll do now is we'll fold it the other way. So I put my right hand index finger on the center there and bring that down. And then we turn it and do the same thing on the other side. And again, I have a slight gap right here, so that way it'll be a lot easier to tuck in the edges later on. Alright, now what we need to do is flip this over. And now we bring, instead of that coming over the other way, we're going to do the opposite of what we did on that. So we're going to fold it down. And then bring it down like this. Then we turn it over. And do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now we open it up. And if you look, now we have two pieces and they're basically mirror images of each other. Okay, now here's the tricky part. Assembling it to create our paper ninja star. And how I like to remember how to do this is we want to tuck the edges in, right? So we need this portion where we have the split. Notice the other side doesn't have a split. You want the split on the outside of the star. So in this case, we'll flip it over So the split in the paper is on the bottom. Then we'll grab this one and we'll leave it this way since the split is on the top. And next thing we do is we take one of them, turn it counterclockwise 90 degrees, or I guess you could go the other way also, it doesn't matter. You turn it 90 degrees either way. In this case I'll do counterclockwise, and we're gonna place it right on top like so. We center it, and what I like to do is, now we have it like this, right? We take this corner and we're going to tuck it in, like we talked about earlier, into the pocket of the half that's on top. And then we turn it 180 degrees and we do the exact same thing. We're going to tuck it into the pocket like so. And now we need to do the other side. So we flip it over, and now we get this portion folded down and we tuck it into the pocket like so, and turn it around again, and one last tuck. There you go, and just flatten it out. And there you go. You have a ninja star. And I have one last little trick when you throw these little paper stars. If you are right-handed like I am, I want to make sure that when I hold the ninja star, I have the actual leading edge fold up against my fingers. So that way, when I flick it, the leading edge will be cutting into the air rather than the cupped ends, I guess. And you'll have, I think I've experienced better performance from these stars when I'm orientating this the right way. And if you're left-handed, you want to make sure again you have the folded edge towards you, so that way when you flick it, the leading edge will be cutting into the air, and I think you'll have better aerodynamic performance that way. Anyway, give it a try. Let me know how it works. And I think it's a little easier to do it this way since you're using only one sheet, so it's not as bulky and it's not as difficult to make these folds and tucking in all these edges. So I hope you liked this tutorial. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.